right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
The big topic of conversation over the last few days is the remnants of Francine. It still has impacted our weather today, but not for some of us. How much of the next few days are impacted, and we'll see our best chance for rain.
Springfield, Ohio on edge tonight. The city thrust into the national spotlight over false claims from the former president about Haitian immigrants, the ongoing threats targeting the community. But first tonight, armed thieves target a jewelry store at a busy shopping center. How much the brazen crooks may have gotten away with in broad daylight.
I thought that was pretty strange for this neighborhood for something like that to happen, but anything can happen, I guess.
Tonight, police are still on the lookout for those suspects. Good evening, I'm Robert Townsend. The armed robbery happened in the middle of the day at a busy Winchester shopping area. New tonight, our Andy Kroll reports it's not the first time a robbery has happened there.
Around noon Saturday at Winchester Plaza, Baldwin police say armed thieves hit the DeHobb jewelry store. Business owner Jim Humphrey popped his head out of his nearby shop not long after.
I had heard some yelling, which I didn't really think that much of it because it's a parking lot and there's kids running around.
Employees at the Manchester Road stores say the suspects came in at 11:58 and were gone less than 2 minutes later. Baldwin police tell us there were about 4 suspects, all wearing masks, who entered that jewelry store quickly, stealing property in the process. Originally, police say the suspects left in 2 getaway cars, but the store employees clarified it was a suspected black Mazda leaving the scene, right outside Humphrey's Dimension Computer store.
Didn't sound like screaming or anything like anybody. I certainly didn't hear any shots or anything like that.
Baldwin Police, which patrols the city of Winchester, says no one was hurt. The paint shop next door said they heard arguing at the same time. They told Humphrey the armed thieves got away with at least $800,000 in stolen property. Baldwin Police have not confirmed how much was taken. Humphrey sharing that 5 or 6 years ago, he was also a robbery victim in this same plaza.
At night, they threw a brick through the glass and then came in and they stole 2 laptops, which they knew exactly, the only 2 brand new laptops I had. They found the boxes and they took that, and that's all they took.
Humphrey just hopes those 4 suspects get caught. Baldwin Police saying Saturday's investigation is ongoing. In Winchester, Annie Kroll, 5 on Your Side.
This same jewelry store was robbed 2 years ago in a grab-and-go robbery. Now, anyone with any information is asked to contact Baldwin Police. Developing tonight, the Major K Squad is investigating a deadly shooting in Madison, Illinois. Just before 9 this morning, police were called to a man's body found in an alleyway off 5th Street and Washington Avenue. Now, investigators say the victim died from a gunshot. He was identified as 37-year-old Lavelle Douglas of Madison. Right now, police are looking for possible suspects. If you know anything, contact the Major K Squad at 618-709-7750. Tonight, the city of Springfield, Ohio, living in fear after Donald Trump's accusations about Haitian immigrants. New bomb threats today at hospitals and a planned community meeting called off due to security concerns. NBC's Maggie Vespa reports.
Tonight, Springfield, Ohio, reeling from new threats. Earlier this week, targeting schools and government buildings. Today, sending 2 hospitals into lockdown, both a false alarm. And tonight, an in-person meeting at a Haitian community center canceled because of security concerns. The mounting chaos here fueled by a false, stomach-churning conspiracy theory that Haitian immigrants are stealing and eating people's pets, something city officials say there is no evidence of. Despite that, Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance tweeting a number of times this week about Springfield, today retweeting an unverified video that amplified false rumors of immigrants cooking cats. While former President Trump,
they're eating the dogs,
has made the baseless claims a campaign trail staple.
And I'm angry about illegal Haitian migrants taking over Springfield, Ohio.
Springfield officials blasting the rhetoric, saying the city's Haitian immigrants are there legally, but adding tensions have been mounting around a large recent influx, roughly 15,000 drawn by manufacturing jobs. But some Springfield residents say that's put a strain on resources.
I'm angry that foreigners are using up the resources that were set up for the Americans that reside here.
Now, many Haitians telling NBC News they're afraid for their safety and keeping kids home from school.
I was talking to my friend like recently and said one of the Haitian guy got punched on his eye. So that's one thing we gotta have to work on it.
And tonight, the woman behind a Facebook post credited with launching the baseless rumor is speaking out to NBC News. Erica Lee says her claim that a neighbor's missing cat may have been taken by Haitian neighbors was wrong, now saying she had no firsthand knowledge of any such incident. The neighbor quoted saying Lee misinterpreted the story and the cat was actually owned by an acquaintance of a friend. Lee telling me, I messed up royally, and quote, I had no intention whatsoever to cause any of this disgusting hate on anyone of any race, color, or religion.
You know, your pets are safe in Springfield, Ohio. I can't even believe I have to tell you or anybody else that, but that's the fact.
That was Maggie Vespa reporting. Tonight we are getting a clearer look at how this week's presidential debate may have reshaped the race. 3 reputable post-debate polls show a bounce for Kamala Harris, now leading Trump by 5 points. The vice president riding a wave of momentum, set to kick off a campaign blitz in key battleground states, and her first solo interview since becoming the Democratic nominee.
Well, I'm obviously not Joe Biden, and you know, I offer a new generation of leadership.
As for talks about another debate, Trump was insistent that he would not do one, but now he's considering accepting Harris's call for another matchup if he was in the right mood. The first mail ballots will go out in several states this week. Today, a St. Louis icon was laid to rest. A public memorial was held today for Ted Drewes Jr. at the chapel at St. Timothy and St. Tyus at Concordia Seminary of St. Louis. Now, the longtime owner of Ted Drewes Frozen Custard passed away on Monday, August 26th at the age of 96. The family said in honor of Drewes Jr., the custard stand was closed for the day. Shriners Children St. Louis celebrated a major milestone today. The hospital has been serving families now for 100 years. Hours ago, Shriners hosted a celebration called Amazing Care Family Affair, which brought together dozens of former and current patients, Shriners, and caregivers.
I just, for me personally, have had a couple of moments where I've been brought to tears seeing kids that, you know, are now in their 20s that I knew when they were little, and watching reunions of caregivers and the kids that were here, it's been real heartwarming to see. Today,
Shriners Hospitals for Children has served more than 1.5 million children across the country. Coming up, a neighborhood tradition in Baldwin celebrates its 50th anniversary.
It reminds me of the old Cheers TV show where everyone knows each other's names.
The annual block party that's bringing former residents back home decades later. A furry fugitive on the green, the warning from local police after a fox causes chaos during a charity golf tournament.
Some areas in the 70s today where there was cloud cover and rain, others close to 90. Why that is going to be the case for the next couple of days as we still track Francine or the remnants of Francine, and we'll all see temperatures close to the number in St. Louis. Tonight, music at the intersection took over a couple blocks over in the St. Louis Arts District. The annual event is highlighting more than 50 music artists this year, from multi-Grammy winning artists to underground faves. People there say it's a great way to get a taste of local talent.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun to have everybody involved in one place, supporting local artists. I know just by myself, I've already got a couple things my kids do. We got the braids in. Absolutely love it here, and everybody interacting is amazing.
Music at the intersection continues tomorrow from 11 a.m. until the festival's closing reception. That begins, we're told, at 10:15. Today, a Baldwin neighborhood celebrated its 50th anniversary with a special party. The Whispering Oakwood neighborhood hosts a soapbox derby race and a block party. The tradition started way back in 1974 as a way for dads and sons to spend time together. Now, organizers say some of those original racers have moved back to the neighborhood to watch their own children compete.
It just gives everyone a chance to, one, get together, two, these kids, they look forward to it every single year. The tennis ball throw, the frisbee throw, the bike races, and the big races. It's just something for everyone to look forward to. In September weather like this, you can't beat it.
Looks like they had a lot of fun. Today's festivities started with a parade through the neighborhood, followed by soapbox derby races.
Look, today we had some rain here off and on, especially to the south, and that's the trend from Francine as it's falling apart. But that's still going to be something we look at over the next couple of days as we focus on this exiting, what that means for your Sunday into Monday. We'll talk about that next.
Tonight, we take an in-depth look at a crisis that has left child care providers across Missouri in financial turmoil. Senior investigative reporter Paula Fazan has spent months following a statewide IT failure that has upended child care centers.
And what shape do you have?
For 2 decades.
Triangle. Good job.
Mary Crockett Smith has poured her heart into the Christian Academy.
Awesome.
A daycare she owns in North St. Louis County. She's faced many challenges, but nothing like what she's dealing with now.
It breaks my heart. It makes me want to do more, but you can't.
For 9 months, Mary says she has not received what she's owed from the state of Missouri. Nearly all of her students live in poverty. She receives state subsidies to help pay the bills. Not anymore.
It's a debacle. It's chaos. It's insanity that you can do this and not be accountable.
To stay open, she took out a $70,000 loan and drained her savings.
How would you describe the state's reaction to your challenges?
Non-caring, distant.
Mary's story is one of hundreds. Childcare providers across Missouri are struggling due to a massive IT failure with a new internal system meant to streamline payments. Launched last December by the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, the new system has created bigger problems.
And the fixes are not being made.
Childcare providers are saying enough is enough. They've come here to the state capitol demanding answers for why a system-wide technical glitch has caused payment delays for so long.
Words cannot express the gut-wrenching sorrow.
We were there as the state's commissioner, Carla Esslinger, responded to criticism from providers and lawmakers.
It's been a grave failure for our state.
We immediately dove in to determine how to resolve, how to get the system running properly, and how to address the backlog of issues.
Emails obtained by the I-Team show state officials scrambling. In a May email, Department Head Pam Thomas called the process embarrassing. She even wrote, "No one knows what the system is really doing." Yet despite these admissions, problems continued. We reached out to Worldwide Technology, the company behind the new IT system that cost the state about $14 million. A spokesperson tells us they will continue to invest all necessary time and resources to move this important project forward. State officials have promised a fix by next month.
The state completely messed up.
For Mary, patience has run out as she thinks about kids she's turned away. She cannot afford to take them in.
Our children are in danger if they cannot be in safe places.
This isn't just Mary's concern. Missouri is already facing a child care shortage. 68% of counties are considered child care deserts, where the demand far exceeds the supply. The IT nightmare making an already bad situation worse. And as months drag on, Mary is pleading for the state to step up before it's too late.
I love this community. These are wonderful people who deserve a chance.
For now, these empty hooks are haunting reminders, she says, of promises broken and a community in crisis. For the I-Team, Paula Vasan, 5 on your side.
If you have a tip for Paula, leave a voicemail to 314-444-5231. You can also send an email to paula@ksdk.com. All calls and correspondence will be kept confidential. And listen to this. Tonight, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office is on the hunt for this fugitive fox accused of stealing a golf ball during a charity golf tournament in Festus. At some point, the fox jumped onto the course, snatched the ball, and took off. The Sheriff's Office is now seeking justice. Wonder what kind of weather that roaming fox is running into tonight. Meteorologist Gary Frank joining us now with the weather impact forecast. Hi, Gary.
Yeah, good evening, Robert. As we look ahead, it's for the most part, it's still muggy. It was warm today. There's no doubt about that, as we got close to 90 degrees. But I told you at 5 o'clock I thought we'd see a really nice sunset, and that's what we've seen. A lot of it has to do with Francine as it's kind of falling apart. We get different levels of clouds, low clouds, mid-level clouds, and high clouds, and we've seen a lot of that here. Jill also sharing that as well, illuminated so nicely. And that's part of our Facebook Weather Watchers group on your 5 on Your Side Weather Watchers page. We got a lot of sunset pictures, but we didn't get all that much rain from Francine. We at least got some nice sunsets and sunrises, things like that. Only 0.08 of an inch in St. Louis so far this month. It's the 21st driest start. Now it's very quiet and things have settled down. And for the most part, I think tomorrow or into the overnight hours, you'll still see clouds that kind of stream in, but there will be plenty of breaks in the clouds. You'll notice where a lot of this rain wants to stay well off to the south and southwest. And I think overall it's going to stay that way. Anywhere here, you can expect to see the sun come out. And just like I played golf with my good friend Sean today, and he actually had his wife bring him out a new shirt. He wasn't expecting that it was going to be sunny. Well, I can tell you tomorrow, we're going to see a pretty good dividing line where there's going to be more sunshine here, like I mentioned, from north to south. So expect that it could be warm into the mid to upper 80s. We got to 89 today. So let's dress like that and not like Sean. So let's just be a little more prepared, right? We're going to see the possibility of a few spotty showers that could send you inside briefly. But overall, it's warm, it's muggy. That's the trend over the next few days. Now, as we've got moderate and severe drought conditions that kind of settle in, you know, I think overall it's going to be pretty dry, and there's a lot of time to be outside over the next few days. So as we continue to see this high settle in and eventually Francine moves out, weakens and dissipates, a different tropical system impacts areas in the southeast. But we're going to see this high settle in. That means dry. That means warm. That means not much of a change, and I don't see any sort of change until maybe the 21st or the 22nd. Until then, it's warm, it's dry. We have spotty showers tomorrow. They could impact you. The better opportunities off to the south and southwest. Remember, 88 tomorrow. Could be 80, could be in the upper 70s where it rains and is cloudy. Most of that was well to the south. And then you get a pretty much steady diet of the same thing the next few days. So despite it being September, some of the leaves changing to some degree. Most of them are changing because it's dry outside. And we've had a couple of mornings in the 40s. So it's not very fall-like.
I'm looking forward to those 80s.
Okay. I'm looking forward to some rain, buddy.
Thanks, Gary. Michaela McGee joining us now with what's ahead in sports.
Absolutely. Well, it's late in the season, and the Cardinals are running out of answers. Coming up in sports, breaking down a frustrating loss in Toronto and what's next for the team.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Michaela McGee, filling in for Corey Miller, who has a night off. The Cardinals needed a rebound win after a tough loss to Toronto last night. That would have tied this 3-game series up 1-1, but clearly the Cards were against us, all puns intended. But let's start with the good stuff. Jordan Walker at the plate hits a solo home run at the top of the third to put Cardinals up 1-0. But Toronto's David Schneider had an answer for that. Right back at you and over the wall in right field. Bottom of the 6th, Blue Jays up 1. Make that 2 after a rare error by Cardinals Mason Wynn. Nathan Luke with the sliding run scored. Wasn't looking up for the Birds from there. The Cardinals fall back to 500 with a 2-7 loss to Toronto.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
City SC knew tonight's match against Minnesota United FC was one they absolutely needed to win in order to keep their playoff hopes alive. Looking strong early for us, a fight for a long ball, but it's midfielder Cedric Teutschert with the first goal of the game. 23rd minute, and Minnesota's on the attack. Roman Berkey couldn't grab the initial shot, but Bongi, he puts it in the back of the net off of a rebound. United FC swept it away with 2 more goals late in the game, and City SC just couldn't bounce back. Minnesota wins 3-1, and John Hackworth shares his thoughts.
We believed that we could come into this game and not only win the game, but put on a really good performance. And for a lot of crazy reasons that happen in a game sometimes, it didn't happen for us, and we lost the soccer game.
Well, for some good news, a top 25 battle today between number 6 Missouri and number 24 Boston College. A shaky start leaving fans a little nervous, but the Tigers ended the game with a mighty roar.
Like I said, we've been through it and been through situations in spring, fall camp with each other. Like, we already knew what we had, but to do it against another team and to go up against another team back against the wall and nobody flinch, that just shows like we really bought in.
It was the first time that we had to face some adversity, and I think everybody kind of had to settle into what that fist fight was going to be. I thought we would start faster than that, but we didn't, and so that's the response. You know, said in the locker room, it's great to be 3-0, but there's got to be a lot of improvement in order for us to take on the SEC, which is what next week is.
I'm glad we could get one St. Louis win in today. At least Missouri win, we can call it.
Yeah, it didn't look great for a while, but yeah, that's all that matters. No pictures on the scorecard.
I'm just glad they won.
Yes, you know, my dad's a Tiger. He played football there, so I'm go Tigers. Yeah. Here we go.
Oh yeah, I went there too. I just love to watch it. That's all good.
Michaela, thanks. Gary had to final look at our weather.
Warm and nice, sir.
Alrighty,
you got it.
That's it for us at 10. Saturday Night Live is just ahead. Enjoy your evening, everyone.